Hey friends, happy Friday, July the 5th, day 256 of Experiencing God. How have you experienced God today? So today I experienced God through a radical encounter. So tonight I got everyone to bed and I turned on some preaching. And there's a service happening in Pennsylvania and I really wanted to go see it and I've not been able to go, but I was watching it. And there were several people being touched by God, having radical, life-changing encounters with God. Now, you know what's cool about a radical, life-changing encounter with God? They're not uncommon. You know, people think that these radical encounters with God are uncommon, but they're not. And why do I say that? Because God doesn't want them to be uncommon. He wants us to every day have a radical encounter with Him, to experience Him, you know? And so I was watching this guy as he was ministering at this service in Pennsylvania, and he was just laying hands on people and they were having radical encounters with God. And so I've been in this kind of thing long enough to know that when I see that, if it's really the Spirit moving, it hits my spirit so differently. And I just begin to shake and, you know, sometimes I cry. And so as this preacher ministered to these people and they had these radical, life-changing encounters with God, it just encouraged me. And I just got this thought in my mind and I wanted to share it, that radical encounters with God, even though they're wild, even though they're radical, they're not, you know, just for a few people. They're not a limited thing. God wants each of us to have a radical encounter with Him every day. He wants us to have a radical life of encounters with Him. And so I want to encourage you, you know, if you've never in your life had some kind of radical encounter with God, He wants you to. It's not just for special people. It's for everybody who wants to experience God, for everybody who wants to know God, for everybody who wants to have an encounter with God. God wants you to encounter Him. He wants you to have a relationship with Him. Go and have a radical encounter with Him. Get in prayer with Him. You know, get in a service where wild things are happening. Radical encounters with God are not limited. They're not numbered. They're not just for special people. They're for everyone who wants to have a relationship with God. I love you guys so much. Have a great night.